I don't know why I've got a post office box. It seems to just sit there and I never seem to get enough mail. I think it's time to get rid of it. I spoke too soon. Big parcel. It's a culture book from a client they had sent me from last week. I'm going to open it soon, but I've just found that over time the post office box has become less and less used, and so I'm going to give it up. I used to subscribe to SMS text alerts, and every time there was something in the post office box they'd send them to me, and I used to pay for it. It was like $30 a year or $40 a year, and that was great and I loved it. And then for some reason they changed it and they had this digital wallet. I swear to you, I tried 7 times to try to get that to work at this post office, so I'm just giving up. They make the change. They don't want my $35 a year anymore. They want me to use some service I can't get to work. Like, that's just bad customer service. I'm heading into a podcast with Bill Gallagher from San Francisco today, talking to him about one of the things that we do, which is the brand promise, and how we build that, and the tool that I use for that, which is the attribute map. Let's see how it goes. I finished the podcast with Bill. We were talking about the Uncommon Service book by Francis Frey and Anne Morris, and in particular the attribute map, the way to determine the service attributes that matter to a customer and how you can rank them, and then how you can build a brand promise as a result of those. So what is a culture handbook? So I took a culture book in the mail. What is a culture book and how does it work? Let's have a look. So this is an example of the Zappos culture book. Zappos is an online shoe company in America. I got this on a tour of Zappos some years ago, and an amazing culture. So what is inside a culture book? You can kind of see it's photos and it's stories about what is it like to work there? What do you love about working there, and why would other people want to work there? So it really captures what is it that is great about this business. Culture books are important because they tell a story, and human brains respond to stories. All of the plaques on the wall, all of the vision statements, whatever kind of stuff that is good, but people believe in stories, and so if we can couple authentic photos with stories, put them in a book, that tells our story as to who a company is, and that can be pretty important. Do I think that you need a culture book? I don't know. It's your business. What do you want to do? I've seen companies where they make a big difference because of their culture. I've seen companies who don't care. Culture books are pretty simple, and they can make a big difference and make people proud of where they work. Maybe it's worth it. When we move house, this is the thing that I'm really going to miss. Ned's Coffee is awesome, and I go there almost every single day. That's what I'm going to really miss when we move. My wife's car has a static shock problem every time I get out of the car. So every time I get out of any car now, I'm always paranoid I'm going to get an electric static shock. That's it. That's Ned's. I'm going to miss it so much.
Here's your coffee.
Thank you so much.
See ya.
See ya. Bye. See ya. Who invented that? Who invented the flicking key? That is awesome. Ned's coffee, the best coffee. I love it. I'm going to miss it so much when we move, as I said earlier. So you might have seen my car featured a bit in this episode. I really like my car, as you can see, my screensaver. I like cars. I wanted to buy an Australian car. Well, I wanted to support Australian manufacturing, and I think that people need to support their own country. They need to support the goods that are manufactured in their own country. And so, yeah, I was sad that 2 days ago the last Australian engine was made. I don't know if you saw that. It's terrible. Our economy has been white-anted, for want of a better word. So in the smallest possible way that I can, I buy Australian, but also I help Australian businesses to try to better this country, I suppose is a good way to put it. Question of the week. Working with a client this week, and we had one particular employee who just didn't fit. I'm sure you've seen it before. One employee who was an outsider, they couldn't get them to connect, and so we spoke about that, and we came to identify, what is it really? Because it wasn't a core values misalignment. He aligned with all of their core values, but there was something else. What else was missing? So I referred back to seeing Patrick Lencioni in Dallas a couple of weeks ago, and Patrick Lencioni has this new concept, a new book called The Ideal Team Player. And within that, he said that there are 3 attributes of the ideal team player. They must be hungry, they must be humble, and they must be smart. And we worked through those to find out, is this person actually hungry, humble, and smart? And we couldn't find it with the core values, but we found it in this area. We found that in hungry, humble, and smart, what he was missing is he wasn't humble. And that is what Patrick calls the bedrock. So a person has to be humble to be a team player. They need to be hungry and they need to be smart. Smart meaning emotional quotient. So they've got to be self-aware and know what's going around. The example of not being smart would be C3PO. He might be hungry and he might be humble, but he certainly doesn't know. He's not smart knowing what's happening all around him. And that's why he would keep rabbiting off statistics, and Han Solo would be at the side saying to him, just be quiet, I don't want to know the statistics. I don't want to know we've got a 98% chance of death. Point being, this particular character in this company, we were trying to identify what was his problem, what was the reasons why this person wasn't aligning with the rest of the team. And it wasn't that he wasn't aligning with the core values, it's that he wasn't fitting that team player criteria. So, hungry, humble, smart. It's a new book from Patrick Lencioni. This is something that I've used recently with a client to figure out this is the reason. It was the absence of humble that was the problem that was causing this person to not be aligned with the rest of the team.